The small transport shuttle landed on the docking bay of Celestial Prime Academy. The station was huge. It floated in space near a moon, and ships came and went like busy insects. Inside the station, thousands of students from 47 different species walked through bright hallways. They were the best of the best, the strongest, the future leaders of the Galactic Union. And today, they were all staring at the new girl. Stepped off the shuttle with a single bag over her shoulder. She was small. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. She wore plain clothes, nothing special. She looked around at the massive docking bay with calm eyes, like she was looking at a regular room and not one of the most famous places in the galaxy. A group of cadets stood nearby, watching her. One of them was very tall, almost 3 meters, with blue skin and muscles that looked like they were carved from stone. His name was, and he was his species was known for being the strongest warriors in the Union. His father was an admiral. His family had sent soldiers to this academy for 6 generations. Looked at and laughed. "This is the human," he said loudly so everyone could hear. "This little thing." His friends laughed with him. There were about 10 of them, all from powerful species. They looked at like she was a small animal that had wandered into the wrong place. Did not react. She simply walked past them toward the registration desk. "Hey," called after her. "I heard humans come from a planet where you almost killed yourselves. Pollution, wars, you could not even take care of your own world, and now you think you belong here." Stopped, she turned around slowly. Everyone in the docking bay went quiet. "I am here to learn," she said. Her voice was soft but clear, just like everyone else. Smiled, it was not a nice smile. "I bet you will not last 1 week. Humans are weak. Everyone knows this." Looked at him for a moment. Then she bowed her head slightly, turned around, and continued walking. She did not say another word. Friends laughed again. "She is scared," one of them said. "Did you see her face? She knows she does not belong here." But one person was not laughing. A small creature with large eyes and thin antennae watched from the corner. Her name was, and she was her species was known for being very smart, for building the best machines in the galaxy. Liked to watch people. She liked to understand them. And something about the human girl did not feel right. Found her room on the 3rd level. It was small but clean. 2 beds, 2 desks, 1 window that showed the stars outside. Her roommate was already there. She had pale purple skin and no hair. Her species could read minds, not deep thoughts but surface feelings, emotions, first impressions. It made them very good at understanding people. When walked in, looked at her with slight annoyance. "So you are the human," said. She did not stand up to greet her. "I asked for a different roommate, but they said no." "I understand," said. She put her bag on the empty bed. "I will try not to bother you." Watched her unpack. There was almost nothing in the bag, some clothes, a small book, a photograph that placed face down on her desk without looking at it. Out of habit, reached out with her mind. She tried to read surface thoughts. It was easy with most people. Their emotions floated on top like oil on water. But when she touched mind, she found nothing. Not emptiness, not a wall, just stillness, like a lake with no wind, like a mirror that showed nothing. Pulled back, surprised. In her whole life, she had never felt a mind like that. "Is something wrong?" asked. She was looking at with those calm eyes. "No," said quickly, "nothing." That night there was a meeting for all new students. A 4-armed instructor named stood at the front of a large hall. He was a species of great warriors and teachers. His voice was deep and serious. "In 3 days," he announced, "the Crucible trials will begin. This is your first real test. 30% of you will fail. Those who fail will be sent home. There is no shame in this. Not everyone is meant for this academy." The room was tense. Students looked at each other nervously. "Sign-up sheets are outside," continued. "You have until tomorrow night." After the meeting, students gathered around the sheets. Some hesitated. Some talked with friends about whether they were ready. Walked straight to the sheet and wrote her name. Saw her do it. He pushed through the crowd until he was standing next to her. "You really think you can survive the crucible?" he asked. "Humans have no special abilities, no strength, no speed, no telepathy. You are the most basic species in the Union." Finished writing and put down the pen. "We will see," she said. She walked away, leaving Starring after her. That night lay in her bed, unable to sleep. She kept thinking about that still mind, that empty lake. In her experience, only two kinds of people had minds like that: monks who had trained for 100 years, and soldiers who had seen too much death. She looked across the room at who was sleeping peacefully. "Which one are you?" wondered. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and bright, and somewhere in the station was already planning how to break the human girl in the crucible. He had no idea what was coming. The crucible arena was the largest training space in the academy. It floated in the center of the station like a small moon made of metal. Inside, there was no gravity. Platforms hung in the air at different angles. Stun turrets moved on tracks, ready to shoot anyone who moved too slowly. Gravity wells pulled and pushed in random directions, making it almost impossible to move in a straight line. 200 new cadets floated at the starting zone. They wore light armor suits that would protect them from the stun shots. Each suit had a beacon on the chest. If you got hit 3 times, your beacon turned red and you were out. The goal was simple: reach the main beacon at the far end of the arena. Do not get eliminated. Commander watched from the observation deck above. He was a being made of living crystal. His body glowed with soft light, and when he moved, it sounded like wind chimes. They were ancient. They had seen empires rise and fall. Very little surprised them anymore. Today, Commander was curious. He had read the human girl's file. It was strangely thin. Basic education, basic training, no special achievements, nothing that explained how she got into this academy. Something was missing. Down in the arena, the cadets prepared themselves, floated near the front with his group. They were all big, all strong, all confident. "Remember the plan," said quietly to his friends. "Find the human, make an example of her. I want everyone to see her fail." His friends nodded. One of them, a creature with 4 legs and thick armor plating, smiled with too many teeth. "This will be fun." On the other side of the starting zone floated Alone. She was checking her suit calmly, testing how her body moved in zero gravity. Her face showed no fear, no excitement, nothing. Watched her from nearby. The small had been thinking about the human all night. She had looked up information about Earth, about humans, about their history. What she found was interesting and a little frightening. A loud horn sounded. The trial began. Immediately, chaos erupted. Cadets pushed off from the starting zone in all directions. Some went fast, trying to reach the beacon quickly. Others moved carefully, watching for danger. The stun turrets came alive, firing blue bolts at anyone who stayed still too long. Moved with his group like a hunting pack. They were fast despite their size. Their species had evolved on a heavy gravity world, so zero-G was not strange to them. They pushed through the arena, knocking smaller cadets aside. "Where is she?" growled. "Find the human." But was already far ahead. She moved through the zero gravity like water flowing through air. Her body twisted and turned perfectly. She used the gravity wells instead of fighting them, letting them throw her forward faster. She bounced off platforms at exactly the right angles. Every movement was efficient. Nothing was wasted. Watched with wide eyes. She had studied hundreds of species. She knew how they moved, how they fought, how they thought, but she had never seen anyone move like this. It was not just skill. It was something deeper. Like the human girl's body knew exactly what to do before her mind even thought about it. Was halfway to the beacon once group finally caught up to her. They surrounded her on a large platform blocking all exits, 5 of them, all bigger than her, all stronger than her. Smiled, going somewhere human. Stopped moving, she looked at each of them calmly. "I am going to the beacon," she said. "Please move." They laughed. The 4-legged one cracked his armored knuckles. "Make us." They attacked all at once. What happened next lasted less than 5 seconds, but everyone who saw it would remember it forever. The first attacker swung at with a massive fist. She was not there. She had already moved, sliding under his arm like smoke. Her hand touched his chest, gentle as a whisper, and he flew backward into a gravity well. The second attacker grabbed for her. She twisted, used his own weight against him, and sent him spinning into a stun turret. 3 hits. Red beacon. Eliminated. The third and fourth came together, moved between them so fast they hit each other instead of her. They tumbled away, confused and angry. Then there was Only. He roared and charged at her with all his strength. He was 3 times her size. He could crush rocks with his bare hands. Stepped aside like she knew exactly where he would be. Her palm touched his chest, right over his heart. It was not a punch. It was barely a push. Flew backward and crashed into a platform hard enough to dent the metal. He was not hurt, but he could not move. He could only stare. The whole thing had taken 4 seconds. Did not even look at him. She was already moving toward the beacon. She reached it 3 minutes later. Her hand touched the glowing light, and a chime rang through the arena. First place. The time was displayed on every screen. She had broken the Academy record by 11 minutes. The arena went silent. 200 cadets floated in shock. Up in the observation deck, Commander's crystalline body flickered. Colors shifted inside him like a storm. The showed emotion through light, and right now, the ancient commander was showing something he had not felt in centuries. Surprise. His mind was racing. She was running calculations, analyzing what she had seen, the speed, the precision, the force. None of it matched any human data she had studied. Humans were supposed to be average, middle of the pack, nothing special. This was not average. This was something else entirely. That night was waiting when returned to their room. "What happened in the arena?" demanded. "Everyone is talking about you. They say you moved faster than, they say you broke the record without trying." Sat on her bed and removed her shoes. "I did not break it without trying. I tried." "You know what I mean," stepped closer. "What are you? You are not a normal human. You cannot be." Looked up at her roommate. Those calm eyes again, that still water. "I am a student," said simply, "just like you." She laid down and closed her eyes. Stood there for a long time, watching her. Then she went to her own bed. But she did not sleep. None of them did. Something had changed today. Everyone could feel it. The galaxy's best academy had welcomed a new girl. And she was not normal at all. After the Crucible, everything changed. Before, the other students had ignored. She was just a human, a member of a weak species from a damaged planet, not worth noticing. Now everyone noticed her. When she walked through the hallways, cadets stepped aside. They watched her with curious eyes, frightened eyes, angry eyes. Whispers followed her everywhere she went. "That is her, the human who broke the record. I heard she took down 5 in 4 seconds. Impossible. Humans are not supposed to be that fast." Ignored all of it. She went to her classes. She ate her meals. She studied in the library. She acted like nothing had changed. But something had changed, and some people wanted answers. Instructor was one of them. The four-armed had been teaching combat at the academy for 60 years. He had trained thousands of students. He had seen warriors from every species in the galaxy. He had never seen anyone like. 3 days after the Crucible, he called her to the front of the combat class. Today, announced to the students, we will demonstrate advanced defensive techniques. I need a volunteer to spar with me. The room was silent. No one wanted to fight. He was a legend. Even a training match with him was painful. Raised her hand. Looked at her, his 4 eyes narrowed slightly. Very well, come forward. The other students leaned in. This was what they wanted to see, the famous human against the legendary instructor. Finally, someone would test what she could really do. They faced each other on the training mat. Was huge, his 4 arms spreading wide. Each arm was thicker than his whole body. His species had been warriors for 10,000 years. 3 minutes, said. Survive 3 minutes and you pass. Nodded. He attacked. Was fast, much faster than something his size should be. His arms came from 4 different directions, each strike powerful enough to break bones. Most students lasted 30 seconds against him. The best lasted maybe a minute. Lasted 12 minutes. She did not win, she could not. Was too experienced, too strong, too skilled. But she survived. She dodged and weaved and blocked, her small body moving through the storm of attacks like a leaf in the wind. And she learned. That was what amazed the most. Every technique he used, she countered the second time. Every pattern he tried, she read and adapted. By the end of 12 minutes, she was not just surviving, she was predicting. Finally stopped. He was breathing hard, his 4 arms hung at his sides. Stood before him. She was not breathing hard at all. Class dismissed, said quietly. After the students left, went directly to Commander. That girl, he said, is not just trained, she is optimized. Her reactions, her adaptations, her ability to learn mid-combat. I have never seen anything like it. Commander's crystal body hummed softly. What do you think she is? I do not know, admitted, but she is more than her file says, much more. While reported to the commander, was doing her own research. The small sat in the academy library, surrounded by floating screens. She had been reading about humans for 3 days now. What she found made her scales itch. Humans came from a planet called Earth, a dangerous planet. High gravity, extreme temperatures, deadly predators. Everything on Earth wanted to kill everything else. And humans had not just survived, they had conquered. They had no claws, no fangs, no armor. They were not the fastest or the strongest, but they had something else, something most species did not have. They adapted. When they fought an enemy, they learned its weaknesses. When they faced a problem, they found solutions. When the environment changed, they changed with it. Most species evolved over millions of years. Humans could adapt in hours. Found one file that made her stop reading. It was about something called combat adaptation. Human soldiers who fought in wars showed an ability to learn enemy tactics in real time. They would lose a fight, analyze it, and win the next one, again and again and again. No other species could do that. And there was something else, something darker. Humans had been fighting each other for their entire history, 10,000 years of war. They had invented weapons that could destroy entire cities. They had almost ended their own species more than once. They were not dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because they never stopped fighting. Closed her screens and sat in silence. She understood now why the galaxy had been so slow to accept humans. It was not prejudice. It was fear. That night, found in the observation deck. His face was bruised from the crucible. His pride was wounded worse. He had not slept properly in days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw himself flying backward from her touch. Human, he said coldly. Turned to look at him. The stars shone behind her through the wide window. Yes. I challenge you to an honor duel, one-on-one, full combat to submission. The words hung in the air. An honor duel was serious. It was public. It was broadcast to the whole academy. Refusing was possible, but it meant shame. Accepting meant fighting until one person could not continue. Why? Asked simply. Because I need to know, said. His hands were shaking. I need to know what you are. I have trained my whole life. My family has produced warriors for generations. And you touched me once and I could not move. I need to understand. Was quiet for a moment. She looked at him not with anger, not with pride, but with something almost like sadness. I accept, she said, nodded stiffly and walked away. From the shadows of the hallway had watched everything. After left, she approached. You should not have accepted, said. He is angry, he will try to hurt you. I know. Then why? Looked back at the stars. Because he is not wrong to want answers. Everyone deserves to understand. That night lay awake again. She had been trying to read's mind for days, but that still water never changed, never rippled. But tonight, for just one moment, she caught something. A flash of memory, a burning city, screaming people, smoke filling the sky, and Younger standing in the middle of it all, her hands covered in blood that was not hers. And one emotion, clear as crystal. Grief. Gasped and pulled back. When she looked at sleeping face, she saw something different now. Not a mystery. A wound. What happened to you? Thought. What did you survive? Outside, the stars burned on, and tomorrow the whole academy would watch fight. They wanted to see what she could do. They had no idea what they would learn. The honor arena was full. Every seat was taken. Students stood in the aisles, crowded the doorways, climbed on each other's shoulders to see. Screens across the academy showed the fight live. Even outside the station, ships had stopped to watch the broadcast. The whole galaxy, it seemed, wanted to see the human girl fight. Entered first. He wore ceremonial armor, dark blue metal that had belonged to his grandfather. His family crest glowed on his chest. Behind the screens, somewhere far away, his father was watching. His mother, his entire clan. He could not lose. The crowd cheered for him. They were popular. They were heroes of many wars. Was their young prince their future leader? Then entered. She wore her standard academy uniform. No armor, no weapons. Her hair was tied back simply. She looked small walking across the arena floor, small and ordinary and alone. The crowd went quiet. They had expected something special, something impressive. Instead, they saw a little human girl in basic clothes facing a warrior in ancient armor. Is she serious? Someone whispered. She will die, another said. In the observation box, Commander watched with unblinking crystal eyes. Beside him, Instructor stood with all four arms crossed. She has no protection, said quietly. If he hits her cleanly, he will break her. Yes, Commander replied, if. The two fighters stopped in the center of the arena. They faced each other across 3 meters of empty floor. Looked down at his jaw was tight, his hands were fists. I will not hold back, he said. I know, replied. The signal sounded. Attacked immediately. He was a blur of blue armor and blue skin, his fists swinging like hammers. Each punch cracked the air. Each strike could have crushed stone. None of them hit. Moved like water, like wind, like something that was not quite solid. His fists passed through empty space where she had been a moment before. His kicks swept through air. His grabs closed on nothing. The crowd gasped. They had never seen someone dodge like this. It was not blocking. It was not defense. It was as if knew exactly where every attack would land before it started. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. Was sweating. His breath came in heavy gasps. His attacks grew wilder, more desperate, and still he could not touch her. Fight back, he screamed. Stop running, fight me. Stopped. She stood still in the center of the arena, froze, confused by her sudden stop. You are not my enemy, said. Her voice was calm, sad almost. You are a classmate having a bad day. I do not want to hurt you. The crowd murmured. No one had ever said something like that in an honor duel. His face twisted with rage. You insult me. You think I am not worth fighting. I think you are angry at yourself, not at me. I think you lost once and cannot accept it. I think you want to prove something that does not need proving. Shut up, roared. He charged again, but this time something changed. His attack was not just wild, it was dangerous. His fist aimed not at her body but at her head, not to defeat. To kill. It was forbidden in honor duels. If that punch landed, he would be expelled. His family would be shamed. His future would end. He did not care. Moved. No one saw what happened. One moment was swinging. The next moment was behind him. Her hand rested on the back of his neck, gentle as a mother touching a child. She pressed one nerve point. Collapsed. He was not hurt, he was not damaged, he simply stopped. His body fell to the ground, unconscious, breathing steadily. The arena was silent for a long moment. Then started clapping. The sound echoed in the silence. One pair of small hands hitting together. Then another person joined. Then another. Then dozens. Then hundreds. Commander stood. His crystal body chimed like a bell. The duel is concluded, his voice echoed through the arena. Cadet is the victor. The crowd erupted, cheering, shouting, stomping, stood alone in the center of it all, looking down at sleeping form with quiet eyes. Medical teams rushed in to check on him. He was fine. He would wake up in an hour with nothing but wounded pride. Walked out of the arena without celebration. Later that night, Commander found her in the garden level of the academy. Real plants grew here, imported from 100 different worlds, sat beneath a tree that had blue leaves and silver bark. An impressive performance, said. Did not look up. I did not want to perform. No, I imagine you did not. The ancient settled beside her, his crystal form humming softly. I reviewed your admission file again. It says you served in Earth's Defense Force, basic soldier, nothing remarkable. That is correct. It does not mention that you were part of the last Light Division. Went very still. That unit does not officially exist, she said quietly. No, agreed. It does not. Just like the incursion does not officially exist. Just like the 40,000 enemy soldiers who landed on your northern continent do not officially exist. Silence. I looked very hard for information about that event, continued. I found almost nothing, just whispers, stories, but one story kept appearing. A story about 200 human soldiers who held a mountain pass for 6 days, who fought without sleep, without food, without hope, who stopped an army when they should have been destroyed in hours. His hands tightened on her knees. Only 11 survived, said softly. You were one of them. Yes. The stories say those 11 were not the same after, that they had changed, that they had become something more. Finally looked at him. Her eyes were wet but no tears fell. We did not become more, she said. We just lost more. And what was left had no choice but to keep going. Was quiet for a long moment. Why did you come here, child? He asked gently. To learn if I could be something other than a weapon. The old nodded slowly. His light shifted to soft gold, the color of compassion. Then learn, he said, and let us help you become what you wish to be. He left her there, alone under the alien tree. Later found walking back to her quarters. Last light, said without greeting. I found a reference, one small file almost deleted. It mentioned the incursion, 200 soldiers against 40,000. Kept walking, followed. You were one of the 11 survivors, but the file said something else. Paused. It said you were the one who led them. Stopped. You held a mountain pass for 6 days. Continued. You kept 40,000 soldiers from reaching a city of 2 million people. You were 20 years old. Turned to look at the small. What do you want? I want to understand, said. How did you do it? How did 200 fight 40,000? Was quiet for a long moment. We did not fight 40,000, she finally said. We fought one battle at a time, 1 hour at a time, one moment at a time. We did not think about winning. We just refused to lose. She paused. That is what humans do. We refuse to lose until losing is no longer possible. She walked away into the darkness. Watched her go, her brilliant mind struggling to process what she had learned. Humans were not strong, they were not fast, they were not special. They were just too stubborn to die. And somehow that was terrifying. 3 months had passed since the honor duel. Things had changed. No longer hated, after he woke from his defeat, something in him had shifted. He stopped mocking humans. He stopped picking fights. Sometimes he even nodded at in the hallways. It was not friendship, but it was respect. And had become something like friends too. The three of them studied together, ate together, trained together. They were an odd group, a human, but they worked. For the first time in a long time, felt almost normal. Then the attack came. It started at midnight. The first explosion hit the Academy's power core. The lights flickered. Emergency sirens screamed. A second explosion tore through the docking bay. A third destroyed the communication array. Void Reavers, the most dangerous pirates in the galaxy, they had found the Academy. They should not have been able to. The Academy was secret, hidden, protected by the best shields in the Union. But somehow they had come. Dozens of ships surrounded the station. Hundreds of soldiers were already boarding. The cadets were trapped. In the residential section, woke to screaming. She was dressed and moving before her eyes fully opened. In the hallway, she found chaos. Students running, crying, hiding. No one knew what to do. The instructors were on the other side of the station, cut off by collapsed corridors. They were alone. Was trying to organize a group of fighters. His voice boomed through the noise. Form a line, protect the others, we need to. His voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Everyone went quiet. They turned to look at her. She stood in the center of the hallway. Her face was calm. Her eyes were clear. In that moment, she did not look like a small human girl. She looked like something else entirely. Listen to me, said. Her voice was not loud, but somehow everyone heard it. The Reavers will reach this section in 12 minutes. The instructors are cut off. No one is coming to save us. Fear rippled through the crowd. So we will save ourselves. She turned to seal sections 7 through 12. Reroute all remaining power to the emergency shields around the residential area. Can you do that? His mind was already racing. Yes, I need access to an engineering terminal. Go, take 5 people with you, move fast. Grabbed the nearest cadets and ran. Turn 2, you can sense minds. How many Reavers are on the station? Closed her eyes, reaching out with her gift. Her face went pale. Hundreds, maybe 300. They have hostages in the medical bay, 37 people. I can feel their fear. Can you guide us to them? Tell us where the Reavers are, what they are doing. Yes, I think so. Then you are our eyes. Turn 2. You wanted to know what humans do in war. Now you will see. You are my strong arm. We hit them hard, we hit them fast, we do not stop. Can you do that? His eyes burned. Tell me where to hit. Looked at all of them. Dozens of faces. Different species, different worlds, different lives. All of them afraid. All of them looking at her. I know you are scared, she said. I am too, but fear does not mean weakness. Fear means you understand what is at stake. Use it. Let it make you sharp. She paused. On Earth, we have fought for 10,000 years. We have learned one thing in all that time. It does not matter how strong your enemy is. It does not matter how many they are. What matters is that you stand together, that you fight together, that you refuse to fall. Her voice rose. Today we are not students. Today we are soldiers. and we will show these pirates what happens when they attack our home." Silence, then slammed his fist against his chest, then others, then everyone. "What do we do?" someone called out. Smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had done this before. "We take our station back." The next hour was chaos and fire and blood. Led them through the corridors like a general leading an army. She placed fighters at. She sent small groups to flank enemy positions. She used telepathy to know exactly where the Reavers were before they arrived. Every time they fought, they won, not because they were stronger, not because they had better weapons, but because made them work together. She turned students into soldiers. She turned fear into focus. When they reached the medical bay, the Reavers had set up a defensive position. 30 pirates guarding 37 hostages. Gathered her team and his fighters in front, others covering the sides, everyone ready. "On my signal," said quietly. "We move fast. We hit them before they can react. Protect the hostages above everything else." She took a breath. "Now." They burst through the doors. The fight lasted 90 seconds. When it was over, all 30 pirates were down. The hostages were safe. Not a single student had been killed. The pirate captain, a creature with metal teeth, stared at from the floor. She had put him there with 3 precise strikes. "What are you?" he gasped. "You are not soldiers, you are predators." Looked down at him with cold eyes. "We are students," she said, "and you attacked our school." An hour later, Union ships arrived. The remaining Reavers surrendered or fled. The academy was saved. In the aftermath, Commander addressed the entire station. He spoke about courage, about unity, about how the cadets had become true members of the academy. But everyone was looking at. That night found her on the observation deck, the same place where often stood, watching the stars. "I read your mind during the fight," admitted. "I am sorry, I could not help it." "I know." "You were not afraid, you were not excited," paused, "you were sad." Nodded slowly. "On Earth, we have a saying," she said. "Those who are best at war are those who hate it most." They stood in silence for a moment. "Why did you come here?" asked. Really, not the official answer, the true one. Was quiet for a long time. When she spoke, her voice was soft. "Humans spent 10,000 years fighting each other. We created weapons that could end worlds. We nearly destroyed ourselves so many times." She paused. "I came here to learn if we could be something more, to prove that the same instincts that made us destroyers could also make us protectors." "And have you proven it?" Looked at her. "I do not know, but today we saved people. Today we protected instead of destroyed." She almost smiled. "Maybe that is a start." Sat down beside her. They watched the stars together. "I used to be afraid of you," admitted. "When I could not read your mind, I thought you were hiding something dark." I am. But now I think everyone has darkness. What matters is what you do with it." Looked at her. "You took your darkness and used it to save us." Did not respond, but her hand found since she held it gently. "Will you keep proving it?" asked. "That humans can be protectors." Looked out at the endless stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, her wounded home, her beautiful, terrible, stubborn species. "Every day," she said, "until it is true." The stars burned on, cold and bright and eternal. And in the galaxy's best academy, a human girl had shown them all what her species could become. Not destroyers. Protectors. One day at a time.